Disney Cruise placeholders. We need to talk about it. We need to talk about it now because Disney recently released a new offer for their Disney Cruise Line placeholder. And you may have a lot of questions, especially if you're a first time cruiser, because you can't even get one yet. So let's jump right in and we're going to start with the history. We're going to go into what the current process is, what's going to be happening in December and beyond. So the onboard booking option has always been a thing with Disney, but in the past, usually the onboard booking happened actually on board. So you're like on the ship and there is a kiosk area where you can sit down and you are planning your next vacation. They would give you one of these things. Let's see if my computer will allow me to show you this. And it had like the future dates. This is from 2017. And you would be like, hey, I really want to go on this sailing. Will you price it out for me? And you would book the cruise right then and there on the ship. So that's kind of how it got started. But what ended up happening is they kind of have moved away from that where you can't just book your next sailing on the ship anymore. I think that went away during COVID and just never came back. But if you walk around the ships, especially the OG ships, you might see some historic artifacts from those times. So there's your fun fact about onboard booking. Now, the placeholders. So when you did the onboard booking, you were on board. Then these placeholders came out where you could say, like, hey, I don't really know when I want to sail, but I want to sail with Disney again. And so you could spend $250 to get a 10% off a future cruise. This is something that per household, each household can get up to 2 staterooms. So for a family like mine with 4 kids, we cannot be in one stateroom. So we get 2 staterooms. So we have to spend $500 instead of $250 for 10% off 2 staterooms for a future cruise. Back then, they actually sweetened the deal a little bit more and gave you onboard credit. So like money, making money for that next sailing as well. So they would give you like $100 if your trip was like 6 nights or less. And then if it was 7 nights or more, you got $200 of Mickey cash to spend on board, which was amazing. That went away in September 2019 and unfortunately didn't come back. But Disney did come out with something that might be a little bit sweeter to all of us. So before we get into that, let's talk about some of the details and the terms and conditions of the placeholder. Obviously, like this is all for educational and entertainment purposes. So if you want the real stuff, you're going to have to go to Disney's website and read all of it there. But I'm just trying to recap to give you a little bit of idea of what is going on and what you need to know. So typically in the past, it has been you pay $250 for 10% off a future cruise that has to happen in the next 24 months. Now, if the cruise doesn't happen within 24 months, you get that deposit back. Disney will refund whatever payment option you use with $250. So if you use a Disney gift card, something to know. Next, there are blackout dates involved with the onboard placeholder, onboard booking, whatever we want to call it. There are blackout dates. Now, these dates vary each year and can depend on holidays or maybe new ships coming out, new destinations, things like that might impact the blackout dates. But know that these blackout dates are not like significant in the sense that it's not like half the sailings are blackout dates. That's not it at all. It's just a few sailings that are blackout dates. Now, if you wanted to use a travel agent for your placeholder, you have to transfer that within 30 days of your sailing to make it happen. If you don't, then you cannot sail with that placeholder with a travel agent. You're kind of like on your own, which good and bad for different people. Also to note, if you are sailing concierge in the past, it has not ever been like really advantageous to use an onboard booking or a placeholder for a concierge. They just don't really, you don't get the 10% discount. And finally, on our FAQs, if you are sailing with someone else that you do not live with, so example, my mom and I are sailing together in a few weeks and we do not live together. If that is your situation, if you are traveling with friends or other family and you are 2 different households, you can each book your own onboard placeholders for future cruises. So moving on, let's talk about what Disney is doing right now. Right now, Disney Cruise Line has an offer where some of these sailings, if you have a placeholder, those discounts, instead of it being 10%, are jumping up to 20, even 25% off that sailing. And for concierge guests, we're talking a 10% discount when there used to be 0. Not on all sailings, just a select, but this is huge. And you may be like wondering, why is this huge? There's like guaranteed discounts and other discounts and whatever. These discounts are so important. These onboard placeholder discounts are so important because it kind of creates an equity among sailors. And what do I mean by that? I mean that most people that use these onboard placeholders are usually booking on like the opening day, like when new sailings are released, and they're usually booking for their family because number one, they know the dates they want to sail. Number two, they need an accessible stateroom. And number three, they need connecting staterooms. And typically, with the offers that come out later, those like guaranteed, restricted guaranteed offers, where you have to pay in full, you don't get to pick your stateroom, and there's no guarantee of it being a connecting stateroom, that really inhibits certain populations from getting to take part in those discounted offers. And so this is something that everyone that is a returning cruiser, so Disney fan, can access equitably. So, example, my family, because we have a child with a disability, and in the past we have needed an accessible stateroom, we cannot just book a restricted guarantee at all. We cannot. We cannot do that because if we need an accessible stateroom, you have to pick your stateroom. Disney does not offer an extra discount. Like you don't get to participate in that discount. And that sucks. That really, really sucks because it shouldn't be that way. It just shouldn't be that way. Like your disability shouldn't impact what kind of discounts you can and can't achieve. And don't come at me in the comments about this. Like I will advocate till the day I die for this community. So don't even try. This community should have access to the same discounts as every other sailor on the ship. So the fact that they are giving these discounts, these placeholder discounts ahead of time, creates equity among sailors about what kind of discounts they can offer. Same with big families. My family has 4 kids. We have to have 2 staterooms. If we want to sail with our staterooms connecting, we have gotten lucky with the guaranteed, restricted guarantee once, but other times we haven't been as lucky and our staterooms weren't connected. And it's really unfortunate that because our family size is what it is, or someone else's family size is what it is, that they cannot participate and get better discounts because they have to know what rooms they're going to be in. And so I love that Disney is doing this because it's creating a more equitable ecosystem for sailors. And I just think that is the absolute right move. And I am so grateful for that. Now, other reasons why this is such a great option, it is because for the planners, if you are a planner and you know what dates you want to travel, you can go ahead and use this and know that you're getting a better discount than maybe what you thought you'd be getting, and you're using that placeholder booking that you had already intended to use. And I think the reason why Disney is doing this is just my speculation, but I speculate that Disney is doing this because I believe that these placeholders are oftentimes not being used, and Disney is not getting people on their ships at the timing that they would want them to get on their ships because these placeholders are only 10% discounts. And so if you are waiting and you're like, well, I got this 10% discount, but this sailing, if I wait closer to the sail date, I might be able to get a better discount. So why would I book, 8 months in advance, 12 months in advance when I know that like 3 months in advance, I could get this sailing for half off? I get it. Like, and so I think this is beneficial to get people on the ships and to know that people are going to be on the ships sooner versus people doing this last minute booking thing. Now, I jump into all of the topics of like budgeting for a cruise and how to save money on a cruise. And I discuss the intricacies of using placeholders versus a restricted G2Y. You can check out those videos. I'll link to the full playlist here. I hope this is really helpful for you. I know I'm really excited. This is going to be something we use for an Alaska trip, hopefully this summer. And I just think that Disney made the right move here. And I'm really, really excited to see what comes from this. Now, if this video is helpful for you, please give it a like, leave a comment below. And if you want to see more information about how to save money on your Disney cruise, you might really enjoy this video right here. So check it out, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye, y'all.